when I first came to Weston, it just reminded me of holidays from when I was a kid. We didn't always go on holiday in England. We often went in France, but we definitely did a couple of holidays in English kind of coastal resort towns, and it just reminded me of that. That was my main feeling. There are two locations for my work here in Weston. One is the Winter Gardens, which is behind me, and the other is a 1930s shelter, which is on the seafront. Both of the pieces for Weston relate to other projects that I've done. I've done a number of pieces over the last few years in neon, and I think always when I'm working with neon in public space, there's a desire to throw into public space a question or an unfinished idea, maybe an unfinished story. And the idea, I guess, is that there's something there that needs completing. There's a thought that's half finished, or there's a question that's open. And in this case, the neon for the Winter Gardens throws up this idea of what's remembered and what's forgotten. And I think anybody who encounters the work when they walk by on a sunny day or on a cold day, they will be thinking that. They'll be thinking about what it is from their own experience that's vivid and that they've held on to it, and other things that have gone, in time, just been washed away. The other piece, which is made from 100 little fragments of text, comes for me from this, I suppose, a set of thoughts and experiments about text and about how you can use text to capture a moment or a place or an experience. And there's something slightly exhaustive about this project that I did, which was to spend a day walking around Weston and just constantly writing all the time, everything that I came across. It's almost as though you could somehow get close to the place by gathering all of these tiny details, and that does relate to many other things that I've done in writing and in text. The two works speak to each other as well, because the big piece for the Winter Gardens is very much this big idea, if you like, about what's remembered and what's forgotten. It's very abstract. And then the other piece for the shelter is much more human scale. It's not about a big idea of what's remembered and what's forgotten. It's just, in a way, me trying to pull out of the flow of daily life 100 tiny little moments from 2010 and sort of put them there as images on the glass. And otherwise what happens in our daily lives, the things we see, child with a particular expression on its face, two people walking on the sand, somebody buying something and cracking a joke with somebody in a shop. These things, they go out of your mind so quickly, but they can be very vivid when you experience them. So in a way, the shelter just preserves these tiny little moments and tries to hang on to them for a little bit longer.